One of the best things you can do is make a meal plan. I bought 2 tubes of ground beef, you guys. It was on sale for $8.47 because it was going to expire the next day. I froze one and I only cooked 1 pack. I was able to make 2 meatloaves with 3 pounds of ground beef. Let me show you how I did it. And when I tell you it was delicious, it was scrumdiddlyumptious. First things first, make sure your hands are nice and clean. Get your bell pepper sliced up. However big or small you want your bell pepper is up to you. I tried to dice them as small as I can. Now, I do have a dicer. I just didn't want to have an extra item that I would have to be washing. But I got these cut as small as I could. And I saved my seeds. So I was just setting those aside until then. Once you get your bell peppers sliced up, set them aside, and now it's on to the onions, and slice those the same, as big or small as you like in your meatloaf. Get those set aside, and then you're going to add about 5 cloves of garlic. So I'm just going to break these apart. Use your knife to smash them and then get those diced up pretty small. I typically do not buy tubes of meat because I like to be able to see the meat, but if one is on sale, then I will get them. And that's what happened with these right here. So this was one of the ones that I kept out because I knew it had an expiration date of that particular day. The other one is in the freezer. It will be fine. This one, however, I needed to cook since I left it out. So once you get the pack open, just dump it into your bowl and you're going to start adding your seasoning. You're going to break it up with your hand, a spoon, or whatever it is you choose to use. Time to add your vegetables. You can add them one at a time, or you can just dump them all in at the same time. Onions, bell pepper, and garlic. I used 1 egg farm fresh for each pound that I had. I'm cracking separately. That way, if the egg is not any good, I won't add it to my dish, but I do give it to Gracie because she does like eggs. I rinsed my bowl out and I added that 3rd egg to it. I used about a 1/2 cup of these Italian breadcrumbs. Might not even been a 1/2 cup that I used. I wished I had used a little bit more to bind it better. Now I'm using about 13 to 15 ounces of tomato sauce, about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and I had this packet of meatloaf seasoning. I just went ahead on and used it because I didn't want it to go bad. And then I used the other seasonings as well, but you don't have to use that meatloaf seasoning. Garlic powder, about a tablespoon or so of that. Pepper, same amount. Onion powder. Yes, I know I already have onions in there, but I love using my onion powder. I couldn't find my Redmond, so I'm just using sea salt in there. I also used some tomato paste, about a tablespoon. I use a spoon, a spatula in this case at first, and then I go in with my hands and start mixing everything together. Mix until everything is well incorporated together. It started to come together pretty good, but once it kind of melds together in one lump and not falling apart while you're mixing it, that's when you know you're done. So I added a little bit more of the Italian seasoning. I kind of wish I had added that 4th egg to it. Next time I definitely will, but I used a little bit more of that breadcrumbs. Once you get it to the consistency that you are looking for, time to pull your bread pans out, spray them down so you don't have that stick. Now using a spoon that's kind of like a scooper, I'm just going to place my meat into the pans in threes, and then I'm going to mash it down to spread it out and then add a little bit more, and I'll do that to both pans. At this point, set your oven to 350. Sit your meatloaf aside. Start working on your sauce. I'm using ketchup, also mustard, and W sauce. And because I like to season my food all the way through, I will be adding garlic powder and onion powder, and I believe I use black pepper as well. Mix it up and definitely taste it, because after I tasted it, I forgot I did not add my brown sugar. So I'm gonna go back and I will add brown sugar to this. I also decided to add a little pop of some barbecue sauce. Give it another taste before you add this to the top of your meatloaf. This is the first time I'm cooking my meatloaf this way, by the way. I usually cook it inside the bread pans that you see, but I'm trying something different. So I'm spraying a bigger pan, and I use these bread pans as a molding device. I'm going to flip it into the bigger pan, tap the bottom, and then bring it up. And that's where I'm cooking my meatloaf at. And I will be adding the topping, which is the sauce that I made, to it. Make sure to put your sauce on the top and the sides, all sides. And then you're going to do the other pan the same way in a different baking dish. Again, you are going to repeat the same steps you did for the first one. Once you are done basting your meatloaf, put it in a 350-degree oven for 1 hour and 30 minutes, but 15 minutes before that, pull them out and add more of this ketchup base to your meatloaf and cook for the remaining 15 minutes. While that's baking, now I'm moving on to my potatoes. I'm using red potatoes here. I didn't use the whole bag because I do want to chit some out so that I can grow my own potatoes this year. So I'm now peeling, because I couldn't find my peeler. I'm using a different kind of knife, so I'm going kind of slow with this, but definitely you can peel these, or you can just slice them and leave the peels on, because there's more nutrients in the peel. But make sure you wash these potatoes before you start cooking with them, because you know potatoes grow in the ground, y'all. I did leave some with the skin on, so I'm gonna speed it up and get through it and then tell you how I make my mashed potatoes. It's been 1 hour and 15 minutes, so I'm pulling these out so that I can add some more of that tomato base to it, and then place it back into the oven for additional 15 minutes. I just took my potatoes off the eye. They are ready. They were soft. So I drained it just now, and now I'm about to get them into a bowl. Add butter, half and half, sour cream, onion powder, garlic powder, garlic salt, black pepper, give it a good mash, and then I will be adding, and this is optional, I will be adding cream cheese, half stick. Once it's mashed enough, I do switch over to a regular spoon. Taste to see if you need to add any more seasonings. This is the half stick of cream cheese I told you about. Mix well. Taste, make sure it's how you want it. If you need to add more or anything, go ahead and do it at this time. I didn't have chives, so I chopped up some green onion tops. The meatloaf is finally done, and I have enough for this meal and a meal on the following day. And that works out for me because it keeps me from having to cook back to back, y'all. This turned out really, really good. Let's plate. So I have not eaten all day. This is my first and only meal, so don't come for me for how much mashed potatoes I put on there, but them mashed potatoes was slamming, okay? So I put my meat already sliced on my plate. I'm adding my mashed potatoes, and I made some Mexican corn, and I'm about to plate that as well, y'all. Get you a plate of some mashed potatoes and meatloaf. I mean, that's just classic.